campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
I'm number one, not number two. If I'm not the one, I'm uncomfortable. See the competition I've been running through. Leveled up, I only see him in my rear view. Yeah, I'm balling. Yeah.
Good evening, Warrior Nation, and welcome back inside historic Teinziger Gymnasium here, the home of the Southern Wesleyan University Warriors. The Warriors are playing host to the Belmont Abbey Crusaders here tonight. We'll go ahead and get you those Crusaders starters here in the road black uniforms. Daniel Lubamba, Kamani Wirtz, Deontay Alexander, Al-Husseini Diallo, and Judah Salt. And now for the home Southern Wesleyan University Warriors in their blue jerseys tonight. A 6'7" senior from Bronx, New York, Chris Osobeye. A 6-foot guard from Little Rock, Arkansas, Shea Smith. Getting his first start as a member of the Warriors is a 6'4" junior from Kissimmee, Florida, Giovanni Hogan. Joined by number 20, R.J. Bell, a 6'1" senior from Roebuck, South Carolina. And number 23, a 6'8" senior, Aaron Timms. Timms, a player to watch tonight for the Warriors. He's coming off a career-high 32 points on Saturday against Mount Olive. That pushes his season average up to 9.7 points per game, but a terrific showing in North Carolina on the road for Timms. Player to watch for Belmont Abbey here tonight is their leading scorer, Kamani Wirtz, who made his season debut on just January the 4th. And he had 12 points against Barton on that day. He had 19 points in his last game out against UNC Pembroke. So he's only played a handful of games this year, but he's made a real difference for the Crusaders since making his season debut. So we'll be the visiting Belmont Abbey Crusaders in their black jerseys with red trim, joined by the home Southern Wesleyan Warriors in their blue jerseys with white trim, and we are underway. This is Andrew Baxley. I'll be joined shortly by Matt O'Banion tonight, who will be taking over play-by-play once he gets finished with his PA announcer duties here. This is the Warriors on their first possession of the game, and you see Giovanni Hogan out there. As I mentioned, his first start as a member of the Warriors since transferring in from Detroit Central Community College. There's a nice offensive rebound pulled in by Timms. They go right back into Timms, who gets dug on, finds Bell, who smushes a three home for the first Warrior points of the game. And here comes some full court pressure. That's one of the things that they can do with Hogan in this lineup, is he's a very versatile defender, can guard 1 through 5. Truly can. That's sometimes a bit of a cliche term in basketball, but it's something that Giovanni Hogan certainly can do.
Here for this conference matchup here. Right now, SWU trailing 5-6 here. Smith bringing down the ball for the Warriors. Alongside out there with Bell, Hogan, Timms, and also Osabaye out there for the Warriors starting 5.
Yeah, Nat, we mentioned it's Giovanni Hogan's first start as a member of the Warriors, and something that he does really well is defend, and that's something they're going to count on here tonight against a very good Crusaders offense.
And we see a lot of that Warriors need that defensive help, especially coming out of the gate in games, but also being able to have that defense finishing out games as well. Wirtz kicking out there. Salt for 3, missing there. That one's rebounded by Bell. Bell trying to go coast to coast with this one. Closely guarded there with that double team. Having Osabaye out there, one of the leading scorers here for the Warriors. Definitely a talented pickup that the Warriors had in the transfer portal. Smith losing that one there. Getting close to about 10 on the shot clock here. Hogan now with it outside that arc. Picked there by Timms. Having to find something inside. Needing a quick shot there, but will be fouled. Great save there for the Warriors. Now with that foul against Alexander, we'll be going to our immediate timeout here. 15:57 left here. And now, and with that one, it will be Long coming in, and it will be getting Hogan for this one.
Yeah, Marcus Long, the team's leading three-point shooter at 47% from 3, and that's something that this Warrior team has really been missing over the past couple games. They're just 2 of 28 from behind the arc in their last 2 games. Already did knock down the 1, so that one made 3 is already more than the last game against Mount Olive when they were 0 for 8, but they're needing to knock down 3s to beat Belmont Abbey here tonight, Matt.
Really need a lot of weapons, a lot of things to go their way. And just like that, as a close play there going out of bounds will be Warrior ball. As Warriors do have the lead here, 7-6, just under 16 minutes left to play here in the first half. Also coming in for Belmont Abbey, that was number 15, Jordan Patton. One of the leading scorers on this team, just over 10 points a game, and a tough shot there with a fadeaway from Osabaye. Some great defense being shown here. Aaron Timms and Smith trying the ball back here with that press. Almost stripped away there. Having Salt now in the corner. Back to Patton, no good there. But it will be a foul there. Going against Bamba.
It's been really good pressure so far from the Warriors. They have given up a couple of looks from 3, but they're going to cause a lot more trouble and turnovers than they are made 3. So I really like this look from Coach Seitz to start off. But for Belmont Abbey on the defensive end, they're at a 2-3 zone, but that's a pretty big zone. They have 6'5" Judah Saltz as a guard in this zone, so that's going to cause some trouble for the Warriors of their own.
Smith with it here. Now in the corner to Marcus Long. Smith trying to go inside. Thought about a handoff there to Osabaya with a missed layup there. Gets his own rebound though. Now having to kick out and reset here. Bell trying to go to work on the inside. Finding Long. Then Timms there. Through some contact. What a great bucket there from Timms.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was a foul, but really strong left hand from Aaron Timms, as you'll see all night long. One of the better left-handed finishers the paint this conference has.
Taking a shot there, but it will be out of bounds. Last touch by Tim. Now Obama really just trying to save that one through a bullet pass right at the lower half of Timms. The Warriors are going on a run of their own right here in the last 3 minutes, 8-0. It's been a slow start for the Crusaders, but their record also being at 1-10, one of the slower starting teams in conference. Actually haven't won a game here in Conference Carolinas play. Also 0 on the road as well. So the Warriors really in this game to capitalize and get some momentum in conference play.
Belmont Abbey's only win this year is against Carolina Christian. That came back on December 11th by a score of 90-56, and that's a similar opponent, although the Warriors put up 132 points in that game against Carolina Christian.
And the Warriors have also lost their last 5 conference games, so not a really good look for the team in this one to really get some momentum back here.
It is still a really important game, though, with the KPI rankings release coming out soon. These are going to be 2 of those teams fighting for those last spots in the conference tournament. One of these wins could be huge for whoever gets it.
Smith looking at something, has Bell on the wing and cashes in from beyond the arc. Great shot there, first 3 being made there by Bell. Actually his second 3, excuse me. Tries for another one, can he do it? Yes he can! He can miss there, looking like a prime Steph Curry on that one. Well beyond the range.
Hey, this is fun right now, Matt.
This is absolutely so much fun here. This is Warrior basketball that we all want to watch here. RJ Bell having a trio of 3s to start off this first half. With Belmont Abbey needing a timeout here, 17-6, they lead now.
And that extends that run to 14-0 with 4.5 minutes scoreless from Belmont Abbey. When you play a Division II college basketball team, you don't score for 4.5 minutes. You're going to end up trailing, especially in the Conference Carolinas that play at such a fast pace. But take it back to that Aaron Timms steal. I mean, we could see him reading that one the whole way. Not a great pass there from Salt. Timms read it. And it ended up in an RJ Bell 3. 3 made 3s today for RJ Bell. 2 made 3s for the Warriors as a team in their last 2 games. So that's what I call a positive regression to the mean here tonight for Southern Wesleyan.
And just the Warriors hounding on the press here. Really putting a lot of pressure on this Belmont Abbey team, forcing a lot of bad passes, a lot of bad looks here. Also, the Warriors are looking great in transition, have 7 points to Belmont Abbey's 0 points in transition. Trying to go to work here. And a good make there by Carter. Coming in the game now, gaining his first points on the board there. Marcus Long, Eric Hackett, the leading scorer on this Warriors team, coming off the bench. Can RJ Bell have another one? No, he can't there.
That was a heat check.
Also just great defense there from the Crusaders as well. Lubamba at top of the key, guarded closely by Hackett. I think Alexander as well thinking about a 3. Great defense there, but will be fouled by Bell on that one.
Yeah, and I would just say, Matt, one thing to keep an eye on is something that they've been working on a little bit more as the season has gone on, especially here in this month of January, is having Aaron Timms and his length really be effective on the perimeter. On that last Belmont Abbey possession, it was Marcus Long who was guarding the makeshift 5, Brian Carter Jr., and on that possession, it was Timms who picked up the foul as he was guarding a dribble drive from Deontay Alexander. So just keep an eye on those sort of inverted matchups here from Coach Stites today and as the game goes on.
Can't make the second one from Alexander. Score stays where it's at 17-9. Warriors still trying to capitalize. He's end the play here, having Bell running in the floor. Marcus Long trying to get to work, driving baseline, pull-up jumper. Can he have it? Yes, he can.
It's a really tough shot there from Long, but that's what happens when you have shooters on the floor. Marcus Long, we mentioned the Warriors' best shooter. They're heavy up on him to try to prevent the three, and the pull-up jumper in the mid-range is there.
Warriors really trying to force them down low. As that's a great make there coming from Patton. Warriors really trying to force it down low because they have that size differential. Really trying to force some bad shots there. A three ball there for Marcus Long. Can't have that one. There's another heat check there. As you're saying earlier, Warriors really trying to use their stretch to get in the middle of those passing lanes. As we have Bobby Taylor getting ready to come in for the Warriors. Pull up there. No good. Rebounded by Timms. That missed from the miss from Carter. Bring it down. Hackett to Bell. Back to Hackett. Can we see Hackett get hot? And it will be a big foul there and some contact. Can't get the bucket off.
A strong drive, though, from Eric Hackett. And that's something we saw from Long. That right-sided driving lane is there.
They have the immediate timeout here. 11:07 left to play. Belmont Abbey going a little bit of a run. 19-11 coming out now. But speaking of Eric Hackett coming off the bench, leading scorer for the Warriors when he can get hot. Let's just say good game to the other team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, though, for the Warriors, he hasn't been hot over the last couple of games. He's been quiet. Does have a couple of 20-point-plus games here on the year. And as you said, the Warriors' leader in scoring this year, tied for the team high his freshman year. Also, those 25 made threes. He was in double digits off the bench the last time these two teams met back in November in the first conference game between these two teams. Eric Hackett, 19 minutes off the bench, 12 points, but just 3 of 8 from the field. He did a really good job of getting to the free throw line there in that one. But the Warriors, in that game actually, Matt, they had 5 players in double digits. They had Osabaye with 13, Aaron Timms with 12, RJ Bell with 10. I mentioned Hackett with 12. Rico Hallman also with 10. He knocked down 3 threes that game. Hallman, although unavailable today for Southern Wesleyan.
And the Warriors also coming in this game after a tight loss to Mount Olive Trojans, a 107-95. Speaking of Aaron Timms, had 32 in that game. A great showing from him.
And a career high as well.
Absolutely. Also 14 from Shea Smith, 12 from RJ Bell. As you were speaking of, Eric Hackett has really hit, I wouldn't say a dry spell, but it's just not to the standard that he's looking for. Against North Greenville, they lost 89-77, only had 7 points. Against Erskine had 9. And then against Mount Olive, only had 6 points. So we're looking to see a bigger game like we're used to seeing Eric Hackett have.
Yeah, so he's in single digits the last 3 games for the Warriors. Those are all losses. Before that, he had back-to-back games of 20-plus points, and then did so as well in December 4th and December 7th. He had 20-plus points in each of those games. So it can sometimes be a meter for how good this Warrior offense runs if Eric Hackett's knocking down tough shots, or if he's getting able to hit shots within the rhythm of the offense as we've seen so far here tonight.
So just really looking for him to get hot here. He's a big leader for the Warriors here. Of course, very humble coming off the bench, and he said he's perfectly fine with it if it gets the job done for his team. That's Marcus Long getting the rebound, but also getting fouled and taking a trip to the charity stripe.
And that's a senior down there making a senior play. That's one of those things that Marcus Long can really bring. You talked about the leadership of Hackett as a sophomore. Marcus Long, maybe not the most vocal guy on the team, but he certainly leads by example when he's on the court, and you see it right there with the tough offensive rebound.
It's always 100% when Long's on the floor. Was a very aggressive player trying to get to the bucket, driving through a lot of contact when he needs to, but also fighting for boards anytime he can. Missing the second one there. Peters will be credited with the rebound. Being guarded by Long, now switching on to Alexander.
And now here's some zone for the Warriors. They're matching that 2-3 zone, but they're matching up with it. So you'll see the 2 and the 3 kind of flop around sometimes, but it is a 2-3 zone at its heart.
CJ Jordan also getting ready to come back in the game, or come into the game, as trying to go down low to Osabaye. But it will be called an offensive foul there on Osabaye as well.
Yeah, they said that Chris just kind of cleared him out with the offhand on the drive attempt, so C.J. Jordan will come in and get him.
And we've seen C.J. Jordan get hot before, having 20 points as a season high this year.
And he did average 16 points per game last year at Wake Tech in North Carolina. As there's some more really good pressure from the Warriors, forcing another Belmont Abbey turnover. That's number 4 for them on the game, to just 1 for Southern Wesleyan. And their one came on that last possession, the offensive foul by Chris Osabaye.
Taylor bringing it down here, having Hackett back to Taylor. And the inside presence of Jordan. Turnaround jumper, that one falls, he's on the board.
And that's what he does. He just comes in and he can be that piece of paint scoring and a physical defender as well, C.J. Jordan.
Really more known on the defensive end, just a very aggressive player, but also very disciplined as well. But has had his moments on the offensive end. This little air ball there. But we'll keep it here with Belmont Abbey.
Man, I do want to ask your thoughts on this, though. What are you thinking about the Warriors wearing their road blue uniforms here at home? We have a rare color-on-color matchup with dark blue and black.
I was seeing them come out of the locker room as I was in the back looking at the stats and stuff. I saw them run out with their blues on. I was a little confused, but any way to get a win.
Yeah, for sure. And I got the 3 home games this week. Maybe they're just trying to take a load off the washing machine and go with the blue to start off. But like I said, anything to get a win here at home, we'll take it.
The disruption there from Aaron Timms and blocked from behind. Great defensive sequence there from the Warriors. Hackett with it now, having Taylor. Taylor thought about pulling for 3, goes baseline, through a lot of contact. No bucket there, but will go to line. Hops up real quick.
Yeah, but Matt just noticed that's 3 possessions in the last 4 or so minutes where the Warriors have driven on that same baseline. So that's clearly something that Coach Stites mentioned in the pregame, and something they're prepared for is maybe a weaker spot of that Belmont Abbey zone, and it's almost all led to good things for them.
If it's not a bucket for the Warriors, it's always been them going to the line. That's getting a replay there. Bobby Taylor full head of steam and just couldn't catch enough backboard there to get the N1. Let's make the second one. Now lead 24-11 here. C.J. Jordan, they'll say he stepped out of bounds. Alexander really looking for that foul.
It's turnover number 5. This Warrior press really doing a great job here so far to just keep the Crusaders out of any rhythm, and they're on another 3+ minute scoring drought now.
Of course, the stat sheet not really showing it for C.J. Jordan, but it has been a great defensive presence for the Warriors here as another pull-up jumper is made by Jordan. Does have 4 steals on the season, and going back all the way to January 2nd, where the Warriors dominated against Carolina Christian. It was leading scorer C.J. Jordan with 20 points in that one. That was his season high and was really his big break here for the Warriors.
Yeah, and even this year, despite maybe the lack of offensive production, he is the Warriors' team leader in field goal percentage with a minimum of 40 attempts. And he shot over 40% from the field last year at Wake Tech, and I mentioned over 16 points per game. So we know this guy can score. It's just about the opportunity for him, and he's making the most of it so far tonight.
And so it's Weiss still on the floor for the Warriors, along with Hackett, Timms, Taylor, and Long.
And he has a really important part of this zone. So if you look at it, Matt, it's a 1-2-2, but C.J. Jordan will play much more ahead of Aaron Timms, and now they're actually matching up out of it. So I was mistaken there. Before it was a 1-2-2, but now they're matching up, and there's another turnover forced.
Hackett with a full head of steam here. Easy layup there. Thought he was about to throw it down. Great pass to get out of the press there. Alexander trying to get out of this one. That's not Alexander, it's Patton. And then Salt up top there, Rasul. Three ball there from long range, no good there.
Rasul of Indianland High School is hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, but attended high school in South Carolina. Very gifted scorer, over 1,000 points in his career for the Warriors, and their team was always extremely successful.
There's a bullet pass there from Bobby Taylor, not being able to connect with CJ Jordan running baseline. And we'll be taking a break here. 7:40 left to play here. 28-11. Warriors still going on a run, 9-0 run to be exact. And in the last 10 minutes, 25-5 run. Back now here in Tyson Gymnasium, Warriors with a commanding lead here. About 7:30 left to play here in the first half. Of course, just before break, talking about their 25-5 run in the last 10 minutes here.
I mean, it's one of the bigger runs I can remember this team having all year. Even that Carolina Christian game, it didn't feel like they had a run of a margin of 20-plus points, even though they did score a school record 132 points. Their defense wasn't always up to par, but it's been both ends of the floor so far today for the Warriors.
Now, a lot of that coming in points in transition, having 13 of their points coming in transition. Of course, a lot of it also coming off of getting a lot of boards here, having 13. A lot of defensive pressure. This is probably the best defense we've seen the Warriors play all year.
Yeah, it really is. And Matt, coming into the game, they allowed 68 points against Belmont Abbey the first time out, but they're allowing 84.5 points per game. That's a big number, and they gave up 107 last time out against Mount Olive, so not one of the best defenses in Conference Carolinas, but they're playing like it right now. We know this team has the potential to be better than they are. It's just about putting those pieces together, and that's what we've seen through the first 14 or so minutes.
And here we were talking about against Carolina Christian, 132 points, but she also gave up 74 points. It was the season high for that Carolina Christian team.
Yeah, really good look there by Aaron Timms. That's what you do when you put up a career high in the game. The defense knows you're coming, and now those eyes are on him. Great cut by CJ Jordan, better find by Timms for the layup.
It's like Shea Smith also getting ready to come back in. Wasn't that starting lineup, took a little break now. And we're going to come back in, Patton with it. 3 out there for Sewell.
And Shea Smith, the only Warrior to play and not score. They've had 8 players score so far today. Shea Smith, the 9th player to play, and the only one who hasn't scored.
Now trying to go inside. And that will be a foul being called on the hold. And so it will send Aaron Timms back to the line. Aaron Timms looking better from the free throw line than last year. That was one of the bigger struggles that the Warriors had, was connecting on the charity stripe, beating those 3 points.
Yeah, they've struggled with that in a couple of games so far this year. They get to the line a tremendous amount. One of the top teams in the conference in field goals, or excuse me, free throws attempted, especially this man who's checking back in, Chris Osabaye. He's top 5 in the conference in free throws attempted. They attempt a whole lot. That's not the issue. It's just about consistently making them.
And against Francis Marion, we saw Chris Osabaye go 13 for 15 from the charity stripe. That's the most that he's had on the season. Most attempted and most made as well.
And no shocker, that's actually a season high as well with 24 points. So that's kind of been his recipe for success, is not necessarily get whistles, but just put pressure on the interior of a defense. Chris does a great job of that.
That deep three ball there. Can't connect. It will be rebounded by Hackett. And a tough bucket there. And C.J. Jordan just going to work so far for the Warriors.
And again, just with Jordan, it's just the feel for where the defense is. Against the zone, you know where they're going to be on every possession. You know, so it's your job to adjust to where they're not. And C.J.'s doing a great job of it so far.
The Warriors just really trying to attack that right side. You were talking about earlier, that weak spot in that zone. The Warriors seem that they have found it. Driving now, there's Carter. Some great defense there from Osabaye. In transition now. Jordan trying to go coast to coast, and it'll stay here with the Warriors. Shuffling through a lot of contact there. Surprised we didn't see a whistle. As Marcus Long will go out. And R.J. Bell coming back in. Bell still the leading scorer for both teams with 9 points. All three of his field goals coming from beyond the arc. And a wide open lane there for Eric Hackett, getting back on the board now.
Yeah, Matt, that's actually a play that the Oklahoma City Thunder will run a lot. They run that little UCLA cut, and I want you to notice right there that Belmont Abbey, they were in man on the inbound play. You'll often see the opposite. Sometimes team will go man during the offensive set, but go zone for an inbound. Belmont Abbey had it opposite, which means it set up that play perfectly for the Eric Hackett layup.
Another miss from three-point land for the Crusaders. They're only shooting 2 for 11. Well, R.J. Bell having all the threes that the Warriors have, 3 for 9. Shea Smith still trying to look for his first points on the board here. Seeing that zone again. 5 on the shot clock. Three ball from Hackett. Can he have it? No, he can't. Just going the back iron there. Osabaye getting the board. Jordan now getting the board. Trying to go back up, and the whistle will be blown. So that'll send Jordan to the line. And with 3:40 left here, we will go to break. 36-13, Warriors still commanding the lead.
I'm saying you went before that. Trying to have the trim or something. And it's West Shores FC, where by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. West Shores FC, where by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. West Shores FC, where by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. Where by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
Jordan now going to the line, 3-4 left to play here, trying to extend the Warriors' lead. Jordan, it'll be his first trip to the line today, missing the first one here.
Yeah, just a 56% free throw shooter on the year. A big drop off from him last year when he was at 69% at Wake Tech.
Let's go 1 for 2 on that trip. Staying that 50% now. Just his first trip, though. More than likely, we'll be seeing him get to the line more. Of course, a very aggressive player when it comes to really fighting through any sort of defense here, but mainly work on that right side of the zone. Now in the corner there, open 3 for Wirtz, and he'll cash in. It'll be Wirtz's second 3 of the game, shooting right at 50% on the night. Still waiting for Smith. Have his chance there, having Hackett round that wing. Still in that zone. Having Osabaye, and a 3 ball from Smith. No good there. Jordan trying to fight for it. And it will be out of bounds there. Last touch, they'll say by Jordan.
Matt, I do want to ask you, we're approaching 7:45, which is kickoff for the college football playoff tonight. Who do you got in that one?
I'm going to go with Marcus Freeman and the Fighting Irish.
Really? I've got Ohio State, but I think it's going to be a good one. I've been really looking forward to this game. It's 2 really good teams, since there's another 3 from Belmont Abbey. But yeah, man, I'm really excited for this one. I'm going to get back after this, and I recorded it, so I'll start it from the beginning and treat it like I'm live, except for I get to fast forward through the commercials, so I have that privilege here tonight. But
of course, I've turned off all notifications from ESPN.
Yeah.
I don't want any sort of spoilers, nothing.
So nobody in the chat goes spoiling the score either.
I've already had Noah Koch and Ryan Rodriguez say that they were going to spoil it for him by texting me, but won't be a very happy camera if that happens here.
That's what Do Not Disturb is for me.
Yes. It is a pretty big day for college football as well, with Notre Dame being a non-conference team, going against a Big Ten team like Ohio State.
No SEC team. It's 2 straight years without an SEC team in the national championship. It seems pretty rare, but with just how dominant that conference is, and not just football, but now college basketball as well. There's for sure the best conference in college basketball this year, but in the regular season it felt like they were the best football conference, but no teams in the national championship. Really surprising.
Of course, both of us waiting for that Duke North Carolina game this year.
I don't know if waiting is the term I would use. Just more like get it over with for me.
Yeah, not the best year for UNC, but really with that game, it's always a great one. It's always going to come down to the wire.
Yeah. It's what I try to tell myself.
But me being a Duke fan, love watching Kneppel, Proctor, and also Cooper Flagg. What a great player, especially for the sport of college basketball. Speaking of college basketball, Shea Smith now going down low to Osabaye. 3 in the shot clock there. Can't get the fadeaway lay-in. Nice getting a rebound from Salt there. Alexander. As Brizendine did check in for the Warriors. So did Rayvon Allen. He's trying to sneak through, trying to go baseline. Can't get anything going there. Wirtz, and will be fouled there by Shea Smith.
Honestly, not a bad foul, though. You do have a couple to give here, with the bonus being at 7 fouls. That's just their 4th team foul. 39 seconds left on the game clock. Just stopping a potential driving opportunity. The Warriors can do it a couple more times if they choose.
And this has been some great disciplined basketball coming from the Warriors on the defensive end. Usually we'll see a few players get in some early foul trouble, but in total we've only had 4 team fouls this half. So hopefully the Warriors can keep this up.
It's another foul on Smith there, and that one definitely was not on purpose. If they were trying to do it, they wouldn't have had Shea Smith, their starting point guard, pick up his 2nd foul, but it's the same idea. They had to switch down low and just stopping the rhythm of the offense.
but that will bring back in Eric Hackett, as that's great screens there from Belmont Abbey, and that's a bucket you're going to look at a clean look.
Yeah, pretty good play right there from Belmont Abbey, and that's going to cut the lead to 14, but last possession here in the hands of the Warriors.
And RJ Bell more likely be holding off the ball here, getting that last second shot. Warriors already with a comfortable lead, and we'll just see what Eric Hackett can do. As Rayvon Allen will take it from the corner and just drills the three ball there.
That's his first made three of the season, Matt. It's a big one to extend that lead right before halftime again for the senior Rayvon Allen.
Warriors having a senior year, a great time to get that season first. And what a great half for the Warriors that they've been having on both ends of the floor. Of course, the defense has dipped a little bit as we've gotten towards the later halves of this first half. But they've came out strong, leading 42-25. All they have to do is just close this game out.
Yeah, and we talked about it here to start, just how much they've struggled from three over the past couple games. But they got the 4 made threes, that one on the last possession from Rayvon Allen, the 3 earlier from RJ Bell, including those 2 back-to-back on the first big run. It's been pretty impressive just how much better this offense has flowed here today. And that's what happens when you knock down shots. You space out the rest of the offense. We've seen C.J. Jordan be someone who's benefited from that spacing and getting some interior looks. It's just been an all-around much better offensive showing for SWU here today.
As you're saying, it's just so much better flowing. Also, in transition, getting the rebounds. And also, not necessarily the best in the steal column, only having 2, but putting a lot of pressure on Belmont Abbey, forcing a lot of turnovers there.
Yeah, they've had several dead ball turnovers, but Matt, you briefly mentioned those rebounding numbers there, but that's probably a pretty big it is a pretty big gap. It's 22-12 here in this one. 7 offensive rebounds for SWU, which is turned into 9 second chance points. They're doing just a really good job of controlling all areas here in this one, and that's why they have a 17-point lead with 42 points at halftime. And
4 of those rebounds coming from RJ Bell. He's the leading scorer for both sides with 11. Right now 11 and 4. Just has that 1 personal foul. So looking for a great second half from him and the rest of the Warriors.
Yeah, as well, C.J. Jordan, those 9 points, and he's yet to miss a shot. He's 4-4 from the field. Also 3 rebounds for him, 3 rebounds for Timms, 3 rebounds for Long. He had a pretty impressive offensive rebound earlier, but Marcus Long, he's got those 4 assists and 3 points in just 11 minutes, so he's been productive in his minutes here today.
And going back to the Carolina Christian game, we saw a lot of the Warriors bench get hot in that game. And that's a big reason for games like this where you have C.J. Jordan and Eric Hackett and a lot of your guys coming off the bench getting hot in this one.
Yeah,
man, playing a big part.
21 bench points for SWU, just 25 total points for Belmont Abbey.
That's another big reason why. Of course, like we were talking about Shea Smith, Sila Guseg on the scoring column, but it's great that he has guys behind him on the bench to be able to pick up where he's fallen short. But still looking for a great game from Shea Smith, looking for him to get hot in the second half as well.
Yeah, for sure. Shea Smith, one of the better players on this team, and the type of guy who doesn't always need to score to be productive. He's a big part of that pressure. He's got the 2 assists and the 3 rebounds. Unfortunately, though, did pick up 2 personal fouls really in back-to-back succession near the end of the first half. So that's maybe one negative to his game, apart from the yet-to-score part. But like we just said, like he's such a good player overall that he doesn't always need to have the shots. He knows that RJ Bell is having a good game and CJ Jordan are having good games, and Aaron Timms, who's as hot as anyone on this team, he's just consistently finding those guys in good positions to score the ball.
And it's great that he's not trying to force a lot of shots. He hasn't taken many shots here in the game. Only 3 so far, 2 of those coming from beyond the arc. But he's really doing a great job of feeding the hot hand, having those 2 assists. And people like RJ Bell and also CJ Jordan be able to feed them to where they can get hot as well and keep building that lead for the Warriors. So in about 10 minutes here, we'll be back for second half action as the Warriors lead 42-25 here on Conference Carolina Digital Network.
The legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, Our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division.
Getting back now here, Conference Carolinas for Southern Wesleyan basketball taking on Belmont Abbey Crusaders. As RJ Bell trying to open up here with a 3-ball of his own, misses there. Might try for another one, does. Can he have it here? Yes, he can. That's 4 threes for RJ Bell on the night.
Yeah, and RJ, he has a bit of the green light from behind the arc. There's not a whole lot of players on this SWU roster that would have the ability to shoot those 2 back-to-back threes, and not necessarily make them, but stay in the game after taking 2 back-to-back. But RJ certainly has that green light, and the Warriors increase their lead to as big as it's been all night.
Trying to have a 3-ball of their own, a miss there by Alexander. Might see another one from RJ Bell here. Actually, no, Shea Smith trying to go down low. I mean, RJ Bell once again from 3, almost has another one. As Osabaye getting tied up a little bit. And a missed one down low. They'll keep it in, though. So Wirtz from 3. That one connects.
Yeah, that's also now Wirtz is 4-3, a little bit more efficient. He's now 4 of 6 from behind the arc. That's their leading scorer, and Matt, he made his season debut in the month of January, scoring 12 points against Barton on the 4th. And ever since, he's started every game, and he's now their leading scorer at 11.3 points per game.
Pull-up jumper there, and finally Smith's on the board. Talked about him on the halftime break, how ready to see him get hot. And hopefully that's how it starts.
Such a good mid-range scorer, Shea Smith, and we know just from being on campus just how hard he works each and every day. You rarely walk into the gym and Shea Smith's not in there, and you can see it when he steps on the court.
That's a great look there from Salt. A lot of energy towards the bucket there. 47-30, 17-point lead here for the Warriors. As a 3-ball there from Long, no good. Looks like Osabaye once again on the ground. Patton trying to go, foul will be called. And it looks like it will be going against Shea Smith. That should be his 3rd foul of the game. Not a great showing from him discipline-wise with the fouls.
Yeah, some big minutes here from Bobby Taylor. He's seen his role increase the past couple games, and now he'll come in the game, and the Warriors stay with those 2 guards alongside Bell.
That's a 3-ball there, does rattle in. Great look there from Wirtz.
Shooter's touch on that one. He's now got 5 threes in the game.
RJ Bell more than likely trying to look for his 5th as well. Trying to feed a hot hand there. Taylor having Bell here, slips a little bit. Taylor will try a 3 of his own. Can he have it? No, he can't. Rattles out. Rebound there, coming from Diallo. Floater there, just a little bit too strong for Patton. And there another foul will be called for the Warriors. A little bit less discipline in this first half, or in this second half. Had, I believe, 4 fouls total. Actually, no, 5 fouls in that first half. And a lot of those came in the later parts of the first half, already with 2 here.
Yeah, they had like 3 in the last minute and a half, and then now 2 in the first 3, just over 3 minutes here the second half. So that's a lot of fouling. They, like I said, need to be just a little bit more disciplined here on this end of the floor, and they're going quite small here. Giovanni Hogan, the 4, CJ Jordan, the 3, with Aaron Timms out there at the 5.
RJ Bell thought he was about to pull the trigger once again. Holds it back this time. Hogan now re-entering the game. Now Jordan trying to drive baseline, having Taylor. Thought he had stepped out right there. Eventually will go out of bounds, and it'll be with the Crusaders now.
Yeah, chance for them to really set up this defensive pressure. They hadn't scored in a while, but dead ball turnover, you can still do it. Now they can't run the baseline.
As we're talking about, haven't scored in a while. It's been almost 2 minutes since they last scored, and that was an RJ Bell 3 that they had. Sewell now. Off to Wirtz. Wirtz has been the hot hand for Belmont Abbey tonight. But Patton will try a 3 of his own. No good there. Diallo getting some contact there with Jordan. Well, there, great ball handler, finding Jordan inside. Can't get the bucket to go, though. And once again with Crusaders, Warriors continuing their drought now over 2 minutes since their last bucket. Rasul now, Diallo. RJ Bell, some great defense with the steal. One-on-one action there, trying to get to the hoop. No good there, as Tim's falling over Rasul. Rasul trying to go inside to Patton. Patton, tough bucket, gets his own rebound for the and one as well. Foul more than likely going to be on Jordan. And will be called on CJ Jordan. Just his first foul, though. There's just a tough bucket there from Rasul. Now a 10-point game. Warriors leading. Largest lead was 24 points back in the first half. But now it's been a rather large run for Belmont Abbey, 9-0 in the last 3 minutes. On that, they're scoreless now for the last 3 minutes. RJ Bell did have a 3 in the first half to start it out. Really haven't seen much scoring yet from the Warriors since then.
Yeah, and they're not necessarily getting bad looks. You had the transition layup opportunity from Bell, the turnaround mid-range jump shot from CJ Jordan, which are both good shots in the flow of the offense and shots you would think they would normally make. They're just not falling right now, and when the shots aren't falling, you have to be a little bit better defensively. And the defense has dropped off, the shot making has dropped off, and that spells a run for Belmont Abbey, and that's why it's a 10-point game right now.
Now Warriors just hitting a wall right now, scoring-wise. Trying to break through there, see if they can. Wirtz now the leading scorer for both sides with 15 now. All of his points coming from beyond the arc. 5 for 9 from the floor, 5 for 7 beyond the arc.
And he's coming off a 19-point game their last game out against UNC Pembroke, so he's seeing a pretty big basket right now.
Patton will go to the line. It's 2 for 2 so far on the night. And haven't seen the Crusaders go to the line much. Only 3 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, Patton, though, just a 55% free throw shooter. He's their team leader in both makes and attempts, but he's 9th in percentage, and as you see, he can't complete the old-fashioned three-point play.
That's the first and one that the Warriors have given up tonight. There's a screen there, at least attempted by Jordan, having Hackett pulling up from 3. Can't have it there. Bell will get the rebound, though, trying to find Timms down low. Tough bucket and off the glass.
And that's good. That's really good offense there from the Warriors. Maybe didn't like that shot from Hackett early in the shot clock, but RJ Bell, the offensive rebound, go right back inside to your big guy.
And Hackett really just trying to find a rhythm here. We know he can get hot once he finds that rhythm. But right now, Aaron Timms really trying to go to work. Having 8 points as well on that layup. Now inside, a great bucket there from Missoula and a great pass there from Patton. Taylor now wanting Bell in that corner, giving him some space down low, pull-up jumper. Not really the shot you want on that one.
It's a really tough shot there. You know, Bobby's a really good mid-range shooter, but really heavily contested and didn't have much room to get it off with his left-handed release.
And still had some time left to work on that shot clock as Patton trying to drive in, and just a lot of buckets falling for the Crusaders, really getting back in this one, now an 8-point game. Win at halftime, 42-25. The Crusaders have already scored 14 in this half alone. Inside there to Timms. Has CJ Jordan there, gets it for the and one. A big momentum shift there for the Warriors.
Yeah, it's nothing but pure strength there from C.J. Jordan. You know how good of an interior scorer he is. And you find Tim's defense sort of gets their eyes on him. C.J. creeps in that back door again and finishes for the chance of the old-fashioned three-point play.
And having Rayvon Allen getting ready to check in, we'll see who he'll be coming in for. As a make there, and it will be C.J. Jordan. He'll be getting the shooter.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure if I would have taken C.J. out right there. He's really been your most efficient scorer here today, and you have both him and Oso Baye out the game right now, and you're struggling offensively. With this lineup, I'm not really sure where the points come from other than tough shots from Bell or Hackett.
Oso Baye only with 2 points in the game. Really used to seeing him putting up big numbers for the Warriors as one of their leading scorers. And also having the size out there, getting 3 boards of his own, as a great 3-ball there coming from Salt.
And this is supposed to be your defensive lineup. You go with the 4 guards out there, but then Hackett gets lost on the back screen and give up a 3. So you're already down with this lineup, and now you're questioning where does the offense come from when you're supposed to really lock up defensively.
Hackett really trapped in that corner. Have to pass out to Bell. That one's poked, but Taylor keeping with it now inside to Timms. Timms with a great pull-up jumper in the mid-range. This is a great spot there around the elbow. Back up to a double-digit lead for the Warriors. So trying to retain that lead and keep growing it here. Taylor with some great defense, forcing a shot like that. It's just a great make there from Alexander. Screen there by Timms, dropping down low. Getting caught there on the defense. And just what a shot there by Eric Hackett, really throwing that one up through a lot of contact.
I probably shouldn't be shooting a free throw right now, but we play on. It has been a pretty physical game both ways here in the second half.
As RJ Bell actually saving that one going into the hands. And leading to a 3-ball from Alexander.
And that's a really unlucky play right there. I don't know how that ball didn't go out off Rasul. But that is a pretty cardinal sin there by RJ Bell. You don't want to save the ball on your own end, but it thought like he was just trying to throw it off Rasul. It never came off.
Right into the hands of Rasul.
They just get a good look at 3, and they've been knocking down their shots. Give credit to Belmont Abbey here. They're 9 of 13 now, 4 of 6 from 3 here in the second half.
And the last time that the Crusaders were leading, there were 16 minutes left in the first half when it was down to 6-5. Right now, creeping on the Warriors' door here.
Yeah, a 10-point advantage for them here in this second half, and they're doing a much better job of rebounding the ball. It was a 10-point differential at the break. It's now down to 7 on the glass. They're assisting more. They're limiting the turnovers, and they're honestly just playing the better basketball right now. But still, plenty of time for the Warriors to go in there and adjust what they're doing, tweak a couple things, and get right back. Get back on the offensive end and continue to grow onto that lead as they were doing in the first half.
And the Warriors really starting to lose a lot of the rebound game that we saw in the first half. Had, I believe, a 10 rebound advantage going into halftime, and now that's turned into 7. 27-20 in the rebound column. A lot of those coming from the offensive boards from Belmont Abbey, now having 5 in the game. But like you were saying, it's just cleaner basketball that we're seeing from Belmont Abbey. Warriors haven't had a point off a turnover in this second half. As Bell will be bringing it down now. Having Taylor out on the wing. Good screen there from Rayvon Allen. A flashy pass there. Not really needed from Taylor there. As there'll be a media timeout here, 11:47 left to play, 56-49. Left play here in Tyson Gymnasium. Warriors have been struggling to close out a lot of games. I don't really want to say it, but might be seeing that here right now, giving up a rather large lead, making this more of a close game now.
Yeah, and that right there was Bobby Taylor's third turnover. He's got just the 1 point, but it's another just bad mistake by the Warriors. You should never, especially if you're a point guard, you should never leave the floor without knowing what you're going to do with the ball. That's exactly what Bobby did right there, and just a mistake, and the Warriors, they're mounting, and Belmont Abbey a chance to continue to cut into this lead. They could make it 5 with a 2 or make it 4 with a 3 here on this next possession. Yeah, even though there's under 12 minutes left to play here in the game, it's such a big possession here for Belmont Abbey coming up now. So as you're saying, we can definitely see us be a 2-possession game now. Now with the Warriors struggling like this, there's no telling what's going to happen here in the last 12 minutes. Lubamba, the only starter from Belmont Abbey, still yet to score, as we don't even see him out on the floor. Having some technical difficulties here, but a lot has happened here, especially for the Warriors. Eric Hackett with a tough 3-ball just coming off there, and the Warriors almost gets it back there from Allen. That's a good lay-in there for Belmont Abbey and Alexander as well. 62-51 Warriors starting to find that rhythm now.
Also, Matt, we should say, I don't know if the viewers caught this before. This is a deep 3 from Bell, but Shea Smith picked up his 4th personal foul. That might have been right before or right after the technical difficulties, but that's a big loss for the Warriors. We probably won't see him for most of the rest of the second half.
Yeah, and 3 of the Warriors starters in Osabaya, Hogan, and Smith only with 2 points in the game. It's a big loss for the Warriors, trying to get your starters to keep going. But it's great that coming off the bench, they're able to step up there.
Yeah, they do have the 32 points off the bench, and that is what you can get when you have 17 players, and you have a lot. You have a lot more guys who you can count on there coming off the bench, and most notably today has been C.J. Jordan with those 12 points off the bench. Eric Hackett as well, 13, but we know he's going to bring those points every night. C.J. Jordan's been the pleasant surprise.
And of course, we were talking about him earlier in that game against Carolina Christian, having 20 points, the season high there. See if he can get some else done here. Great rebound there to fight for it by R.J. Bell. Having Hackett and C.J. there in the corner. Having Hackett now on that wing, guarded closely by Peters. We really haven't seen him in a while either. Another one of the Crusaders who has yet to score. Only having limited minutes now. That's a missed 3 there from Long, who is also re-entered. Peters now kick out to Patton. Patton's 3-ball missing. That great rebound there, trying to slow it down. Hackett chucking up a 3. Can he have another one? No, he can't. A little too strong there. As we will see Osabaye getting ready to come back in. I'd like to see some more production from him. Does have 3 rebounds, so is helping in that column. Only has 2 points, though, 1 for 4 shooting.
Good defense there.
Great defense coming from Hackett, really trying to shut down the drive. Peters trying to drive, and that will be a blocking foul being called on R.J. Bell. Now just be his 2nd foul. .7:35 left to play here. Warriors getting some of their lead back, 62-51, having 11-point lead as we go to immediate timeout here. That's a great block there, coming back into coverage from Rayvon Allen. And Rayvon Allen, being one of the guards on this Warriors squad, he has probably one of the best hops on this team.
Yeah, he's a really unique athlete, man. Only sitting at 6 foot tall, but he jumps, his jump makes up for the lack of height out there. He's a terrific defender all around. It's not just the rim protection, but he can really get down in the stance as well. And that's a pretty crazy play. It's a highlight reel play.
Hopefully trying to get some momentum here for the Warriors. High pass there being caught by Bell, having to use some of his vert. 5 on the shot clock though, having to get something off quick here. Pull up jumper, a lot of separation there from Eric Hackett on the step there.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes you have to live with the bad Eric Hackett shots, because you know he's also capable of that. And when the shot clock's running down, you know who the hands the ball is going to be, and it's Eric Hackett.
He's also just such an athletic player. He's able to do shots like that. As it will stay here with the Crusaders. Rayvon Allen checking back in.
Yeah, and they're calling offense-defense here with Allen and Long. Every chance they can get, every dead ball, they're going to go back and forth with a 2. When Rayvon had that dead ball on the block, they brought Marcus back in. Now on the defensive possession, they bring Ray back in. So you'll see that probably a good portion of the rest of the night with these two.
The last separation created there on that screen.
And that was Wirtz again, his 6th made 3. All 6 of his field goals come from behind the arc.
We're just having a special night now.
And that's travel there on Allen, and that's probably why you see Coach Seitz wanting to go to the offense-defense, because of just how good Allen is defensively, and then some of the struggles he can have with the turnovers. Long would have just shot the ball right there, just adding a little bit more spacing, but now the Warriors got to crack down on defense again here with this 2-3 matchup zone.
And Wirtz with his 6-3 actually passing Peters with the most threes made in a game. Peters previously with 5 threes against Carolina Christian back on December 11th of 2024. And also versus Young Harris had 5 in that one as well.
Yeah, Matt, Jaden Peters, it's a really interesting season for him. He's 4th in points per game, 9.7. He averaged 16 points per game in the first 6 games, but then just 2.2 points per game in the last 5 games, and he's yet to score in just 7 minutes, though. So I honestly haven't paid enough attention to the Crusaders to know what's going on behind the scenes with that, but you can tell that the talent and the just pure ability to put the ball in the basket is with him. It's just wondering why it hasn't come in the last 5 games for him. And now make it 6, I guess, with today. That average is going to continue to drop.
And only having 1 rebound to show from tonight's game on the floor right now. So definitely another guy to be looking at on the floor, especially for the Warriors defense. As they'll pull a 3 here, and that's just way off target for him. Also hasn't really taken a lot of shots tonight. Only his 3rd attempted field goal. As the Warriors now, time winding down to 5 minutes left in this game, have that 10-point lead. Really just trying to call your guys in to go close this one out. Especially having misses like Peters just did there. It just makes the job easier for the Warriors. 17 controller shots, a 3-ball there by Marcus Long, no good. Rebound by Peters, a 2nd now. Good transition there. Alexander trying to go cross court there. So actually looks like that will be a foul on the push there by RJ Bell. And that'll be his 3rd foul of the game. So really have to be careful as you go down the stretch, especially now there's 4:30 left in the game now.
Yeah, not just that, though, but their other point guard and the guy they'd have on the floor and is actually someone who's about to check back on the floor, Shea Smith. He's got the 4 personal fouls, so now you have the 2 point guards out there, Shea Smith with 4 personal fouls, RJ Bell with 3, so they have to be careful, especially defensively. Might see more of that zone from the Warriors, try to keep them away from physical play.
And you hate to see Shea Smith's minutes be limited like it is in this game, only having 2 points to show for it. But when you have 4 fouls pretty quickly in this game, you almost just have to if you're Joel Stites. But this is a lineup here that he has on the floor that can score a lot of points now. CJ Jordan going to work there, going soft off the glass with that one.
Yeah, he's been the story of the night for real, man. Sometimes you just got to get CJ Jordan the ball, especially in the zone that he's been feasting against it all night long. Got to keep feeding that guy down low.
I mean, he's got 14 points in the game. Of course, it's great seeing a guy like this coming off the bench and putting in work like that. Great screen there. And in this second half, they've been using that screen to get a lot of separation. And it's been worked. He's had 7 threes now in the game.
Yeah, it's been worked every time, and it's just straight away really confusing the Warrior defense for whatever reason. And then Wirtz, he's made him pay more times than not. 7 of 10 from behind the arc.
And this is just making it harder on the Warriors. That's a great pass there from Osabaye. Getting loose there. 3 ball from him. No good there. Missing left and off the rim. He's been 0 for beyond the arc. Only having 2 points showing on the night. Has been the best from him. Actually, Eric Hackett coming out of nowhere didn't even realize he had 15 in the game. He's leading the Warriors. Diallo going to work there, fighting for the ball against RJ Bell.
Yeah, I do have to just give up those points right there for Bell. It was actually really unfortunate. It was Smith and Bell, the two, alongside Diallo. Just got to give him the 2 points there. Live to fight another day with the personal fouls.
Yeah, just can't have any sort of contact. Can't give the referees any sort of reason to blow that whistle. So Aaron Tim's getting ready to check in. Hackett now, trying to drive. There will be a blocking foul being called there on Patton.
Yeah, but Matt, though, that's just the second personal foul here of this half for the Crusaders.
Another media timeout now coming in. 66-59, Warriors still leading this game, coming down to the wire. Didn't really think it was going to as we entered halftime, but now with 2:30 left to play, Warriors needing to hold on to this lead tightly.
Yeah, on paper, though, it was a pretty even matchup coming into the game, and 8 points separated the two last time out. That was back on November 30th. Southern Wesleyan won in Belmont 76-68, and honestly, they're tracking for a very similar total point score here in this one with SWU at 66, Belmont Abbey at 59 with 2.5 here to play.
And the Warriors coming on a 5-game losing streak, all of those being in conference. They're only 2-3 at home here in Tysinger, only 2-7 as well in conference play. Really trying to get a win here so they can really look good for the KPI rankings coming out pretty soon. And
yeah,
also
Matt,
just getting rid of that losing streak.
And this is the start of a really important home stretch for them. You've got Belmont Abbey here tonight, Young Harris on Wednesday, Barton on Saturday. Those are 3 tough games, but 3 games that you really want to win with your conference hopes on the line here. Still just January, but still near must-wins for this team.
And Joel Stites, head coach for the Warriors, came in last year as an interim head coach mid-season, and his first win here at Southern Wesleyan was against a thriller of a game against Young Harris. RJ Bell inbounding it, having Smith really trying to draw this clock out. About 10 to shoot now, going inside to Jordan, and will be fouled, so he'll go to the line. That's a foul going against Diallo there.
Yeah, just great action there, and again, the Warriors, that's about as an easy of a look down there because they had the 2-on-1. If Jordan didn't want the shot, he could have dumped it off to Aaron Timms, but CJ, chance for free throws here, and these is just going to be the second trip to the free throw line for the Warriors. A much bigger flip from that first game. They shot 30 free throws in the second half in this first matchup. This is just their second attempt from the line in the second half in this one.
And Belmont Abbey just being a whole lot more disciplined, only having 3 fouls in this second half. To the Warriors 7, a little bit more undisciplined than we saw in the first half from them. Jim got real quiet. At 2 made there, we now have a new leading scorer for the Warriors. It's CJ Jordan now with 16 in the game. Passing Eric Hackett, also having a great game.
That's tough defense right there, man.
Some great screens coming from Diallo, having to kick out. I'll be Patton with another missed 3, and that's really what the Warriors need, a lot more missed shots coming down the stretch here for the Crusaders. But it's just going to be their job to force those bad looks and force up tough shots.
And it's really just anyone shoot a 3 but Wirtz, for sure, here for the Warriors. They played really great on-ball defense. Eventually, though, Wirtz got the dribble drive, got the defense to collapse, but you'll take anyone else to shoot a 3 because no one else has more than 2 made 3s in the game for them. They have Wirtz with 7, but then Salt with 2, and Alexander with 2. Other than that, you'll let anyone else shoot. And that's what they did on the last possession.
Timeout being called by Coach Joel Stites. It'll be a full. He's got 2 timeouts left here. 2 timeouts also for Belmont Abbey with about 1:30 left to play here in the game.
Yeah, but one pretty big difference, and it's going to start coming into play here, is those 3 team fouls on Belmont Abbey. They're going to start fouling the Warriors within the next, maybe on the next possession. Try to start getting them to shoot free throws, but they're going to have a few hacks. They're going to have a few chances to get turnovers before the foul. So if you're a Warrior, you got to be strong with the ball. Make sure you know where your next pass is, or if you have room to dribble, then dribble, and then Coach Stites, he'll get his best free throw shooters out on the floor, and then probably bring Rayvon Allen in for defense when it's time.
And that's exactly why Coach Stites calling that timeout there, making sure that the Warriors can keep calm and make some great passes instead of trying to force up plays, and that'll lead to turnovers. It'll be Smith the inbound here, trying to find someone. Has Timms. Having to calm it down now. Guarded closely by Wirtz. 5 on the shot clock. And a dagger from Shea Smith.
Big time shot.
What a time to get his first 3 of the game. Now forcing the Crusaders to have a big bucket now. And not where you want to foul there by Eric Hackett.
And it's going to be free throws.
Of course, that's a different story if this team isn't in the bonus already, but it's the second foul now for Eric Hackett, sending them to the line.
Yeah, worst thing you can do when you have a late lead is foul, stop the clock, and give them a chance to score while that clock is stopped.
Just north of a minute now left to play. 71-59. And a big miss there. But a big 3 ball there. 8 threes from Wirtz. What a night it's been for him.
Was it a conscious decision by him to miss the free throw and get the 3? Just for the extra point? I mean, man, this dude is, the rim's about as big as the ocean for him right now.
He has 24 points, and all of them have been from beyond the arc. He's taken 11 threes.
On fire is one way to put it.
About 1:03 left to play. 9-point game here. But when you have a guy hot like Wirtz, possessions matter right now. If you can get a turnover or a forced miss, chuck up a quick 3 from Wirtz, it can be a completely different ball game in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, one thing's for sure for the Warriors, they don't want to turn the ball over here. You're okay with running some clock and a missed shot if they don't foul, or you're okay with going 1 for 2 from the stripe to put it back up to a 10-point game, but You can't turn the ball over. You can't give Wirtz any more looks at the rim either. Those are probably the two things. Take care of the ball, close down on all airspace for Wirtz here the rest of the game.
And really for the Warriors here, you just need a bucket of any kind to really make it a dagger. Doesn't need to be a three with 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Just needs to be a bucket, drain out the clock. Having Smith there, finding him. Now Jordan, a great possession there. Almost turned bad.
That's a foul. That one's just the 4th personal foul, so
no bonus yet.
Need a couple more hacks. And I imagine soon, maybe after a foul or two, they'll probably get Timms off the floor. He's just a 52% free throw shooter.
And now hand off to Smith. Great job by Timms giving it to Smith there.
Yeah, maybe now I would sub in Marcus Long for Aaron Timms. Not yet, though. They'll leave him out there.
Hand off there. No foul yet. Very surprising you don't foul Timms.
Yeah, that's really a missed opportunity.
Well, Timms is 4 for 4 on the night, but historically, he's not.
On the season.
And another turnover there for the Warriors. Getting a quick three. Oh my goodness, 9 threes in the game for Wirtz.
And that's exactly, that's during the timeout, that's exactly what we said that the Warriors can't let happen. You can't turn the ball over and you can't give that guy an open look. They did both. It's a 6-point game now with Shea Smith to the free throw line.
And it will be Rayvon Allen. Surprising move there, taking Eric Hackett out.
Just 1-1 here for Smith. 65% on the year after 77% last season. Big shot.
And a big moment there for Smith. Going 2 for 2 here would pretty much be nail in the coffin. 41.5 seconds left.
Yeah, and here, on the make or miss, you got to deny Wirtz. You just can't let him even touch the ball on this next possession for Belmont Abbey.
It doesn't matter if there's 4 guys on him. You got to be able to shut him down. Wirtz with it, though. Wirtz. Grabbing now Alexander, tough lay, no good there. Rebound Diallo. Now once again, a rebound there by Patton, and just an easy lay in there. That's all you really needed. A lot of time drained off the clock there, and only 2 given up.
A lot of time, but still got to make your free throws, though. Smith misses the second, so it's still a 2-possession game. You're going to have to make your free throws again for the Warriors. But you did bring up a good point, though. A lot of time melted off that clock for Belmont Abbey.
Yeah, great job closing out Wirtz there. Making him either chuck up a long 3 and hoping it goes in, but then also passing it off there.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. That's exactly what they had to do because a 3 for Kamani Wirtz right now is a layup. So you'll take the layup that's worth 2 over the layup that's worth 3.
With 9 threes already in the game, it's been a great game for Kamani Wirtz. And especially with a guy like Peters, really hasn't been there tonight. He's been over on the floor. And the inbound will go to Bell. No foul has been called yet, just playing keep away now. And Osabai having Jordan wide open in the basket. Could have been something big there if he saw him.
Yeah, but if you don't see him, it's fine. Just take the foul and sends a pretty experienced free throw shooter here to the line. And Chris Osabai, 116 attempts on the year, 72%. 2 pretty big ones here in this one. The 2 biggest of the game so far. Or I should say 2 if he makes the first. It is still 1-1. They have 6 players on the floor right now.
I was about to say, like, someone needs to get off. Great make there. Clutch Gene coming from Osabaye. Hasn't been his best game, but coming up clutch here. And a great job there from Osabaye. More than likely will be finishing this game only with 4 points, but those 2 points there on the free throws matter so much more.
Yeah, 2 big free throws, and Coach Seitz just calling a timeout here to set his defense. They're not going to go with the pressure that was causing turnovers in the first half, but they're still probably going to bring some guys up to about 3/4 of the court just to make sure that Belmont Abbey takes time getting the ball up. They're also going to bring on Rayvon Allen to make sure that Wirtz doesn't get a shot at the rim.
And Rayvon Allen better tape himself to Wirtz. And getting a great shot there, C.J. Jordan leading the Warriors in a big night for him. 16 points on 6 or 7 shooting. 4 of those points coming from the charity stripe, also with 4 rebounds and a steal. Chris Osabaye there on the bench now. Not his best performance, but as we were just saying, some clutch free throws there. Warriors showing some pressure to have Smith and Jordan back. Pull up 3. That one almost found it. And it will be a late foul there. Going against Alexander. Just his 3rd foul, but that will do it as there is 4 seconds left here, but just a formality. Warriors will end their 5-game conference losing streak, and we'll get back in the win column. R.J. Bell making free throw number 1.
It wasn't the best of second half performances, but sometimes in conference play, you just got to win basketball games, and that's what the Warriors prove that they can do tonight. Is they can win games when they don't have their best offense in the second half. They did have some of their best offense in the first half. Second half, not so much, but it won't matter in the record. Big win in conference play for SWU.
As that one will do it here. C.J. Jordan, 16 points leading the way for the Warriors. Big staple game for him at Southern Wesleyan. Really just having one of the legacy games here. We're talking about before he was transferring in was averaging 16 points a game, had one of those games tonight. But a big part for the Warriors' win was getting to the free throw line and making those shots. 16 for 21, shooting 76% from the charity stripe tonight. Big time numbers from them at that spot.
Yeah, and you're right, Matt. It wasn't just getting there. It was about making them. And they made, except for the one from Shea Smith on the front end, or on the back end, they made all the other ones in the second half, and that really helped them seal the win.
This is a great quality win that the Warriors desperately needed in conference play, getting ready for KPI rankings coming out now. But that will do it tonight from me and Andrew Baxley here on Conference Carolinas Digital Network. Thank you for watching us. We hope to see you again later in the week as the Warriors will be taking on Young Harris this Wednesday. Hope you tune in there. We'll see you then. Good night.